Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM23. This is Lions episode 34. We're going to be kicking off with just one stage of Settimana this year. It's down to a very, very minor objective for us at half star. But, as I always say, never pass up a good opportunity for a team time trial. Because it is so complex, it is so complicated. When you get it right, what a difference maker it can be. But when you get it wrong, oh, can it hurt? Just ask movie star over the years just how bad it can hurt to be bad at team time trials or time trials, period. So we're going to take this opportunity to practice our team time trial craft. I'm pausing because, well, you got to get it just right, especially off the line. The effort level going into the riders is very important. I've already assigned 2 of our 7 guys to not even contribute. They're going to be dropping to the back. One of those is the second man in line, Mason Samuels. So that's going to make the line a little bit trickier. And with only 5 riding out of 7, that makes it even more complicated. That's because there's 2 that are very weak. One of them being Samuels, and he's that overall race leader. So you got to make sure you're not leaving him behind. So we've got to get things just right. And I find it silly that when you are on pause and on the line, you can't see what the effort level is until they start riding. I wish they would change that, because then you can probably set things up off the line. Otherwise, you're starting with a little bit of a guess. All right, so here we go. There's the pause. Okay, we're set to an 87. We could definitely go harder. I'm hoping to be able to ride a 90. It's only 13K, but there are some guys that are pretty strong and are going to make it tough on others. I think. Let's see here. Is it Johannes Dalek? Yes. Johannes Dalek, we're going to ride an 89, and I'm going to set him up to ride significantly longer. But there you go. So that sets us up, and we'll see how we're doing with this one. A 90 is hurt. Well, it's off the line. Let's make that an 89. And Johannes Dalek, let's make that an 88. And hopefully they can handle this. Yeah, Johannes Dalek already taken over. Berhe, De Villiers struggling already. And Samuels? Samuels isn't struggling. Why is he struggling? Ah, come on. I told you. I told you just how tricky and complex it is. An 89 should not be a problem ever. But the substantial gap between some of the players and just getting off the line and having one of the guys who was going to drop to the back right near the front meant extra acceleration for those behind. And red bar disappear right off the line for some of these guys, even though we weren't going maximum effort. I've done a lot of testing with this, and a 90 should be capable for a similar capability team. But when you don't have similar capability guys throughout the team, it gets tricky, which is why I was trying to back off with Johannes Dalek right off the line, knowing that he was too good for his teammates, and yet here we are now blowing things up, and yeah, it's not looking pretty. Those front 3 are just going at a pace. Let's see, it's a Shimway. They need to back off. They need to be the ones pulling their teammates, but if they don't have teammates with them, the time's taken off your 5th guy. So right now it's Berhe. And they are not gaining ground. So again, this is... Told you it can go bad real fast. Wait, these 2 aren't even riding because they were told not to ride. So no wonder they're not going to make up any ground. They can catch the other 2 and the 4 of them ride together. Or drop Samuels. Yeah, that's what we need. Drop the team leader. Like I said, Settimana is not important, but this is still out of hand. I slow those guys down significantly, and it makes no difference. They are riding away from these guys comfortably. Too late now. It's too late now for those guys to drop back and make any meaningful difference. This is just an ugly, ugly mess. We still beat cycling team Friuli, but ouch. That's why I want to practice. That's why I want every opportunity, because sometimes you absolutely nail it, and sometimes it all goes to shit in 3 seconds, which is what happened here. By the way, it was still the 7th quickest time out of all the teams. Could have been a lot worse, but obviously could have been astronomically better. We easily could have covered 30 seconds or 20 seconds anyway and gotten a top 4 or better. I only have one mid-season objective that is sizable in nature, but at this point, with that 100% super success, it's really not very important, but that doesn't mean I want to ignore it. So we are into April, and we have the one that I have difficulty pronouncing, and nobody corrected me on it last time, so I still don't have an appropriate way to say it, but if I were to try, Pay de la Lawyer is where we're at. It's already stage 3 of 4 stages, and the main reason for that is that the objective is a top 5 overall finish. Stage 3 is a prologue. Stage 4 is a undulating, punchy finish stage. Stages 1 and 2 were sprint stages. I didn't bring a sprint team. I don't have a sprint team. However, something noteworthy on that one before we get into this stage is that for the last year and a half, when there is a sprint stage and I have my sprinter present, Ryan Gibbons last year, namely, and I quick sim, we were never on the page, ever. That's how bad we were as sprinters. Now, from some of you, not many, it is not a majority, it's a very, very small percentage, but from some, I'm getting repeated criticism for not doing better in the sprint or for not changing tactically what I would do. There's just nothing that could be done. We were just that bad. And on the quick sim, we can't even crack the top 20 in a sprint. If you remember, we are starting to get there. Matthew de Villiers has already gotten about 1 point better than what we had with Ryan Gibbons. But we don't have the team to surround that, to set that up, to get him in the right position to have a chance. But on paper, things are different than when you simulate races yourself. When you actually go out and do the race simulation on this hardest difficulty level, your opponents are given a bonus. That's that, it comes out to about a +4 or a +3 on some lower attributes, but a +4 to every attribute. So now suddenly a 78 sprinter is an 82 sprinter. A 75 sprinter is, 78 to 79-ish sprinter. And you still have your base attribute, which is, that 73 range. A difficult task gets more difficult. When quick simming, those bonuses are not applied. The base attribute is what's taken into account in the simulation. Meaning, technically, it is easier in a quick simulation than it is in the race simulation. The quick sim, your 73 is compared to their 78, to their 75. They're not getting those bonuses. However, as most of you will be well aware, those of you who have played the game with significant hours, it's easier to outsmart the AI tactically than it is to do so in the on-paper race simulation. So there's a trade-off. You can get better results when you do it yourself, but to an extent, you can get better results when you don't do it. Now, when we start cracking top 10s, top 5s on paper through quick sims, that's when you have somebody who's capable of beating others head-to-head. We finally are getting Matt de Villiers on the screen. The top, it's 16 or something is cut off. So 17th and below is not visible on the screen unless you scroll down. So he's starting to get top 16s, barely. The last couple races he's been in, we've seen him pop up at 14th, 13th place. It's a step in the right direction, but it still shows that, and that's just him alone without any support. We don't have a lead out We don't have a train that can roll through and get to the front. That combination is just not there yet. The individual himself head to head, which of course, if you can get him somewhere near, somewhere close, you can start getting third places, fifth places by following the best sprinter and changing that tactic. That there is alternatives, but you have to have someone capable, and we don't have either set yet. But he's starting to get a little closer. Back to this task and a problem, a big problem. I came into this one with a primary leader who was an easy choice. He had one race over a month period in advance of this race on the calendar. During that race, he crashed, broke a rib. That leader, Roteasir has a 79 Prologue and is punchy. Perfect combination, easy hands down leader for this one. He's my B team guy, but for this race, he was set up beautifully to do extremely well and easily get us that top 5 finish. But he broke a rib. He's out for a couple months. He's not here. His replacement, Johannes Dalek, 75 base Prologue, 73 base Hills rating, and has raced a lot and is a bit fatigued and had a fitness peak end yesterday. So now, with a little bit of fatigue, he's on a -1 expected. Today it looks like he got a 0. So he actually drew a +1 compared to what it could have or should have been. But to make matters even more difficult, our supposed leader for this, the replacement leader, has to go out first. So I don't get the benefit of our 5.9K Prologue of testing the waters and knowing exactly how hard you can push with a given rider because our leader is coming first out of the blocks. I already just had a bad team time trial, and now I feel like I'm being set up for a really bad individual Prologue. We'll do what we can, though. Let's give it a shot. I think I might be going a little too hard here. 91? Nah, that's not too hard. Out of the blocks. Okay, and now we have to ease into things. Okay, looks like we can go a little harder than an 86. 87 seems to be pretty suitable. Just 3K left. This is all about red bar here. It's such a short distance. Yellow bar doesn't matter. There was a downhill. The stage is so wonky. Pushing hard for the line. First place so far by 11 seconds. But it's very early on. I tried to pause. It didn't pause, but okay, we're on with Midseason now. Midseason does not have the same capability. Here's the thing with Johannes Dalek, who's now second place behind Blake Reynolds. 17 seconds down, which means there is significantly better times available out there. We didn't make any mistakes with Johannes Dalek there, but we didn't get it exactly right either. So a little disappointing that there's potentially some time lost there. I had no idea that there was a downhill. It doesn't look like there's downhill on the profile at all, and so that was deceiving. Also a little bit hard out of the box. It's okay. 88's pretty good. Midseason gets to the line with just a little bit of energy left, so 88 is a definite better. We pushed for 87. So Johannes Dalek, I think we might have been able to squeeze out maybe 2 more seconds. Seems like that would have been possible, but not much more. I mean, he's only as good as he is. With a leader of Roteasir, I think we could have squeezed out more than that 2 seconds because he's, his base would have been better. He was fitness peaked for it because this was his one objective that I had set for him for literally the entire season. He could have been coming in with a +4, +5 and been in the 80 something, and he could be leading this thing right now and won the stage. highly likely. So for that, really disappointing. Really good across the board for the team, though. I mean, everybody's within 40 seconds of the top, and there's a 15-second drop-off after the first two guys. So as Hanoch goes, and he's got a wonderful +4 race day condition, adding 10 to his Prologue rating, but that still only puts him at a 72. As we wrap things up with him, Johannes Dalek now finds himself in 11th position. Hanoch's only 29th, so there's still 28 more riders to go, which means I think we're looking at just something inside top 20, which is not good. But here's the thing. So many of these guys are going to be time trialist specialists. Many of them are not going to be punchy. Many of them are going to lose time on that last stage. Looking at that list, I'm really only seeing maybe 2 names jumping out at me of guys that are going to hang in there, at least based on the name alone. Known quantities. We have Nance Peters, we have Tony Galopan, and they're right there with Johannes Dalek. So just a second ahead, 2 seconds behind. Is that the right Johannesson? I don't think it is. X, Sebastian Johannesson. It's not the right Johannesson, so, or is it? Either way, most of these guys that have finished at the top are unknown quantities, meaning on that last stage, a whole lot of them should be losing time and will move up a lot. Still hanging on to 13th at the moment. It's giving us a little bit better chance. None of the riders right now are coming in the top 20. Yeah, well, 14th is certainly not where I wanted to finish. I think it could have been a lot worse, especially the drop to Roteus here. I think Roteus here easily gets 15 to 20 seconds better than Johannes Dalek on that, and would be already in the top 3 at the very least, if not winning the stage. So yeah, that hurts, but I still think that with Johannes Dalek, we're going to be okay for this last stage, as long as he doesn't have a bad draw, right? His expected is going to be a -1 due to the fatigue and no preparation for this race at all. So it is going to take a team effort to protect him and set him up for that one. He's obviously our best placed guy, so he's the one we would want to go with. I don't think, well, Hanoch 10 seconds further behind, and Hanoch is not a strong rider, though we could expect a good outcome for him. Nabahu would be a great one to try to go and get some sort of result on. It's only a 2.1 race, though, so yeah, I don't know. I think we have to ride for Johannes Dalek based on the time. You can't expect large gaps on the coming stage, or could we? We'll see. We could have a plan B in place, kind of Johannes Dalek and the next best, whoever best race day condition looks the best as a rider, because they'll probably look better than Johannes Dalek, and ride for both. See what happens. As we head into the final stage, and you can see the profile below me, as it's really flat through here. It's a really long stage for our level. Very, very long stage. 7 riders in the break. I didn't bother putting anyone there. If there was 7 on the team, I would have put our extra man, but I really want to protect what we have, and what we have, well, it's not good. I totally missed something. Some of you may have caught it. I didn't even give it a single glance. I didn't give it any thought whatsoever. But Johannes Dalek going first was not because he had been casual about the sprint finishes. Somehow he had lost time on one of those stages. He was already down on time. It's time for somebody to get water. Bitsy Mana, with his awful race day condition, will take care of it. So he's, even though he put in that good time trial and lost 20 seconds, he's over a minute down. So he had already managed to somehow lose 40 seconds and be one of the only riders in the field that had lost time over those first 2 stages. So he's out of contention. He's too far down the order. And he's managed to get a 0 on the race day condition here, so 2 days in a row of +1 for him, but no matter. And actually, kind of lucked out too, because now he wakes up this morning not feeling well. We're down to 73 here and starting to fade. Are they pushing that hard, or was that just a weird undulation point? Probably the later on that, but we'll need to get water again here shortly. And then it's going to be on. So Johannes Dalek, okay on the race day condition, but he's too far down the order to affect the top 10, most likely, unless he's our last guy and the field really, really splits up. Nambahu might be the guy today, even though his base mountain rating is a 59. But he's got a 67 medium mountain. He's got a 70-something hills, 72 hills. He's got a really good, even a really good stamina boost is still only a 78. We're already climbing, by the way. We're on to the final circuit here. I don't know how we're going to do anything to challenge for that top 5, because Hanok is a 70 mountain. Johanna Stalik is a 68 mountain. There's just not much quality. But when things do speed up and we can push up to that 90, the medium mountain rating is a little better. But even then, we're looking at about a 70 for our riders. There's just no quality in this field today. Going with this B team, Roteus here would have brought it, especially if he was sitting on the +5s like Nambahu. I mean, look at those huge bonuses. You add those to a Roteus here, who is decent, is in the low 70s, and then had that 79 prologue. Guy would be in first place or on the podium at the least, and probably able to defend it. In the meantime, Breakaway's already splitting up. They're down to 4 riders at the front. We are well into our circuits here, down to 36K. But feeling it. Everybody's feeling it. It's not just the domestiques that are feeling it. So I'm pretty nervous about our ability to do something here. It's a really skinny technical climb, which means when it comes down to it, position at the front is going to be important. But can we even get there? Will we hang on? I don't know. UNOX looks pretty confident that they're going to have this race well in hand, as they're putting all sorts of riders on the front. All right, 28K, and our first guy, Midseason, is looking pretty weak now. Pace has definitely been elevated. Kareem, 60 mountain. This is what we're dealing with today, folks. Jail for him as well. Benuna, I think it's the first time we've seen him in a race. He's not going to last much longer either. He's at least a 68. Okay, gel for him. Now, we need to make sure our positioning is going to start to be a matter of importance. Down to 44 in the peloton. This is a small group already. Just realized I don't even have my headphones on. No wonder I wasn't hearing anything. Midseason has been dropped. 13K, and we are seeing an attack. It's time to get that medium mountain of use. It's a better rating for us. Huge acceleration here by Fredheim. Last 3 riders off front, but very, very little gap. Now, are those attacks, or is that... Ooh, he's 4th overall. I think that's an attack. Down to 20. That's the last of the big climbs here. My 3 guys are actually hanging in there. And we're down to a pretty small group. There is a chance here that this is going to move us up the standings significantly. 22. Okay. We have dropped these 2. Figure it out. 3 riders. Well positioned. 23 riders overall. Johannes Dalek's going to have to lead out the other 2, right? This is about timing now. Hanok is the best placed by mere seconds. Namahu is literally the next guy behind him, but every second could count in what happens at the end. Give me a 99, but holding position. Holding. That nearly led to a separation in the group. I'd give him a 99 so that it'll put everything into keeping his position, and then immediately a bike length opens up. He was already just on hold position on just a 90. Give him and he was holding it fine. You give him a 99 and suddenly he can't hold it. Whew, that freaked me out a little bit. 6.7K. This is action point number 1. Try to ride forward. right a little bit more forward. We are in position here with our 3 guys. We get blocked off a little bit, but we are able to escape out of it right as we go to hit the top, and it brings us to the front. And we are now perfectly placed. Nambahu looking a little stronger than Henok, though. Down to 17. 2.9k. Sprinting on Johannes Dalek as he's out of red bar. This is one of those where you want to still have something left because you're going to hit the top, it's going to ease off, and then you sprint for the line. And we're down to a top 8. Top 11. 1.7k. Nambahu getting an early jump on this one to set up Henok. And Henok going for it. Can we hang on? It's technical. Oh, there's a little more uphill. We're not going to get a win. We're not going to get a top 3, but we are well placed. Bergadeau, Thomas, Henok hangs on for 3rd. Yes, he does. That's 4 extra seconds. Neutz, Peters, Nambaho. Gaps. More gaps. Already a minute 15. Big changes. Big changes coming. Well placed. Is it enough for a top 5, though? I don't know. Good outcome from the B team. But does that prologue hurt us too much? Johannes Dalek took 8th after everything there. Good ride from him. So gaps were most definitely given. Normally I love to calculate it in my head and see what we need and what we got, what's possible, how it sets us up, but no idea. No idea here because times were all over the place after that prologue in terms of placement. But we do know that we were, 23 seconds down with Henok. He's going to pick up 4 seconds for taking 3rd place. So that offsets the fact that he lost 4 seconds to Bergadeau at the finish line. So we'll call that a net 0. So he's got a 23-second situation. So anybody who is more than 23 seconds down is guaranteed to be behind him in the standings. So doing the math on that one, we're looking at 29 from Eddie Fine on down in 9th place. Johannes Dalek is a teammate. Nambaho is a teammate. We know that they were behind him already. So that means at the worst, he is going to be 6th overall. At the worst. Nance Peters was, 1 second? No, that was ahead of Johannes Dalek. But he had a pretty good time. So I'm guessing Nance Peters is probably going to be ahead of us. Bergadeau could be ahead, could be behind. He's going to gain 10 seconds for the stage win, right? Yeah, he'll have picked up 10 seconds, but was he 10 seconds behind? Was he ahead? No idea. And that's the thing. So worst case scenario, Henok is 6th place. So I can calculate that much. But how high is he? I guess we'll find out right now. He's on the podium. He is on the podium. Nambaho up to 4th with an 8-second gap between them. So the 4-second gain. Nance Peters, as expected, is ahead. And Benjamin Thomas. Bergadeau only moves up to 5th place after winning the stage here. Wang drops to 6th. Neutz, fine. Johannes Dalek climbs into the top 10 as well. So that worked out. That worked out well. We needed top 5. We got a podium. It's a super success with our B team. And we get 3 guys in the top 10. That's a good day. That's a good day for the B team. Especially after the prologue not going so well. We raced well with everybody. Johannes Dalek was the key guy, and yet he was already down on time, and I just didn't even know it. But we overcome a number of obstacles to do what was needed in our mid-season objective. We only have 2 key objectives the rest of the year. At this point, they really don't matter. But we've got our 100%. We have got it in the bag. That doesn't mean I'm going to ignore those last couple. I'll probably the Belgium and Austrian tours, so Belgique and the Österreich tours. Need stage wins for those. I may or may not play those out, but I think there's no reason to just skip the rest of the season. We got to do something. Maybe we'll focus on some 2 pros and trying to see if we can get some key wins for some minor nations to get them a boost, because at this point our top 2 nations are too strong. A 2 pro will not boost them up. It's got to come from a minor nation. So see if maybe I could squeeze out a result for a minor nation on a 2 Pro. That might be a good objective for the remainder of this year. Besides, of course, our signing period, which will be coming up. We'll have a number of expiring contracts, and my scouting will start soon. I haven't done it yet. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.